Hello there, welcome back. My name is Sean Reimer, I don't rhyme, and this is Star Wars. Not A New Hope, and definitely not a special edition. Just Star Wars. In 4K, no less. Even non-Wookiees know how much of a pain it is to watch the original version of the original trilogy. And yet fans have come together to create these amazing Frankenstein films that recapture the feeling of going to the movie theater in 1977, plopping yourself down in the chair, and watching Star Wars. But alas, Lucasfilm's position seems to be that the newest versions of Star Wars are the definitive versions of Star Wars. A point I will argue against using my first screenplay. I started watching Star Wars with Attack of the Clones. My family was pretty weird. And besides the lightsaber battles, I was honestly pretty bored of it. Hell, decades later, I still think Episode 2 is the worst. Although that sequel trilogy is really making a run for that spot. As someone who grew up on the prequels, the original trilogy was a breath of fresh air. Granted, as a 7-year-old, I couldn't yet figure out why films that came after the prequels looked older. Or why there were so many CGI shots. Or why Hayden Christensen was at the end of Episode 6. That's right, I fell victim for watching the special editions, and I knew they weren't right. That's when I made it my mission to watch these films in their most unaltered state possible. Albeit a mission that didn't start until college, when I had some student loans to irresponsibly spend. I considered getting a VHS player and trying to find the original VHS copies, but I found an option that was more appealing: Harmy's Despecialized editions. These are a Frankenstein creation, splicing together the 2011 Blu-ray with a 2006 bonus disc, and a bunch of other sources I'm probably forgetting, into a damn impressive fan-made version of the original trilogy. And it was 1080p, perfect for a college marathon while making French toast. Shout out to all you guys in Vancouver. But there's a catch. Downloading these editions are a pain. So much so that I went on eBay knowing the potential of getting scammed was stronger than the Force, and purchased a nice looking Blu-ray box that had the files burnt into the discs, and to my surprise, they worked flawlessly. The galaxy, as I saw it at the time, was at peace. But Sean, I hear you asking, you said you got Star Wars in 4K. What gives? Well, fast forward to a few months ago as a new owner of a 4K smart TV. Naturally, Harmy's 1080p editions weren't going to cut it anymore. Enter Projects 4K 77 and 4K 83. Unlike the Despecialized editions using multiple Frankenstein sources, 4K 77 and 4K 83 use multiple film reels and scan them at 4K. And the results are breathtaking. Even compared to the 4K HDR versions on Disney+. These scans from the StarWarsTrilogy.com trump everything. Two questions you're going to ask are, how do I get them, and where is Empire? Empire is the most difficult movie to get reels for, so I would highly advise donating to their 4K 80 project so the trilogy will be complete. Luckily, the process for downloading these masters is fairly straightforward compared to Harmy. You simply register on the website and follow the instructions on the download section of the forums. Be warned, you're going to need a lot of space for these. I'm serious. All three of these movies will most likely take up 200 gigabytes on your hard drive. But hey, that's why external ones exist, right? But the biggest question you should be asking is, why do I have to do all this? Why can't Disney and Lucasfilm come out with an original version of the original trilogy? I'm going to answer that by not comparing the movies to other movies, but by comparing these movies to music. Artists tend to alter their songs when performing live, making in their mind the definitive version of that song. This can work beautifully, like how in early performances of Rhiannon, Stevie Nicks would basically perform an exorcism on stage. Those are Mick Fleetwood's quotes, not mine, and it would double the length of the original song. Or take, for instance, Prince's Purple Rain in the Rain, arguably not just the best performance of Purple Rain, but the best Super Bowl halftime show ever. Of course, these can also go terribly, like in every other Super Bowl halftime show. Seriously, you start off with sweet victory only to go fuck that and switch to fucking sicko mode? Anyway, the point is that artists, not just George Lucas, tinker with their work all the time. And I understand it. But that doesn't mean I agree with it. In college, I wrote a screenplay called The Bagman. It was clunky, complicated, and cliched. It was heavily inspired by a girlfriend I had, and I'm reminded of her every time I look at The Bagman. I could very well rewrite it, as many people have asked if I will. But the answer is no. Art is a screenshot of who we are at a certain time. We're all different people all throughout our lives. And that's okay, that's good, you have to keep moving, so long as you remember all the people you used to be. I remember who I was back then. And as much as I cringe at the choices I made and didn't make, I have respect for who I was. And I have even more respect for who I am now when I skim through that script. So if you're watching these authentic versions of Star Wars, remember all the people that you used to be. Remember the things you created, the moments that drove you. Because as much as George probably looks back at embarrassment at his original version, he knows deep down that Greedo didn't shoot first. In fact, Han was the only one who shot at all.
Yes, I bet you have.
And on that wonderful note, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.